here's my birch branch. Looks pretty good. Looks somewhat like a birch branch, don't you think? I think so. And I made it out of this. It's those cardboard tubes that the foil or the plastic wrap come out of. And this one was a paper towel cardboard tube. I'm going to be working with this one today. And the tools that I use is a paintbrush. Whoops. A paintbrush. You can see it's well used. And an artist brush. And I am going to use a glue gun to give the dimension on the birch branch and some glue sticks. Now, this is where it gets kind of weird. I have some very old white paint. When I opened this, it was a cake of white paint with a layer of the oil on top. So I took my paint stick and I scraped and scraped and scraped and put it in this cup. And you can see how cakey it is down there. But that's good because it gives the dimension. Let's see if I can find some. On the birch branch that kind of gives it texture. Okay? So, and then I have some black paint that I use for the details of the eyes, quote unquote, on the birch branch. So, that's what I use, and let's get started. Okay, first what I'm going to do, and you can see how cakey this is. See, even on the brush, you can see how old and cakey it is, but that's good because that's going to give this texture. Now you need to go sideways all the way around. Get some of that cakey stuff on here because it gives it texture. Now, let me show you. You see the texture on that? Birch branches are not totally smooth. So this is good that I have texture on here. Now I'm going to do the rest of it. Okay, pretty well covered. I'm going to let that dry a minute, because then I'm going to put some hot glue on it. Okay, I'm back, and this is pretty dry, and you can see the little bumps. And what I did, in the meantime, I went ahead and did the big one too, and you can see this one has a lot of bumps. What I did, before the big bumps dried, I went over and I kind of smoothed them out a little bit, so that they wouldn't be so spiky. So I kind of smoothed them out a little bit, but kept the dimension. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue gun. Are we ready? Let me see. Yep, I'm ready. And I'm going to make the eyes. Put that back over there. make the eyes for, you know, because birch trees have eyes. And make the eyes. So I'm going to just put the dimension. And we're going to put I'm going to make a little break up here on this one. Make a little break. Maybe we'll put a little break down here. Maybe a little break down here. Okay, I think that's probably good enough. Now, I'm going to let these dry, and, well, here, I'll do this other one while I've got it. Blobs. Gotta have blobs. Because if you look at pictures of birch trees, they're not perfect. Their bark is rough. Well, not really rough, but it's not totally smooth. And they have a lot of blobby things on them. I think that's going to do that. Now I'll be back and let this dry. Okay, I'm back. And these are dry. Put that one over there. And now I'm going to take my little paintbrush and put it in this paint over here, the black paint. Let me bring it over here. And just kind of paint these kind of rough. Paint these black. And these blobs. Hold on just a second. I had to stir my paint a little bit because some of that oil stuff has come to the top. See, and it made it very light. Okay, now what I need to do with this is just make some little lines. Very light. that dries, what we're going to do, stand up there, buddy. Okay, we'll turn you over. Okay. After that dries, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bigger brush, this one, I'm going to take my bigger brush, put it in the black, and really get the paint off of it, and then just go over the whole thing. So when you see this one, you can see that it's almost kind of gray, and that's what I did. I took the brush and went over the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead with this one now. Okay, now we'll let these dry, and then I'll come back in. And this paint is not water-based, so I'm just going to put the lid on that, and I'm going to stop now and go get some turpentine and clean off my brush. While I let that dry, what I'm going to do, when the black paint dries, I'm going to come in with some of the white and kind of make this like an eyeball, some of these, to make them look like an eyeball, because they're a little too black. So I'm going to make them like an eyeball. See, like this is an eye. See, it's got some space in there. So I'm going to put some white, but I've got to let this dry first. So I'll be back. Okay, I think they're probably dry enough. Let's see. Get some of my wicked little paint here. we're going to let these dry. And then I'm going to come back. Look at me, I'm just a mess. I've got to go clean my brush again, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to use the big brush and go over everything with some black. Very lightly. Okay, I'm back. And this is dry enough, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush. I'm going to dip it into this paint, just the tiniest little bit. And then I'm going to wipe it on a paper towel. And then take this and just go over it. The whole thing. And this is going to calm it all down, the white. Put more lines on it. Like this. There are several steps to this project, and it's not a hard project. The hardest part is waiting for things to dry, and that's where the time-consuming comes in, is just waiting for things to dry, the paint to dry, so that you can put the hot glue on, and then you have to wait for the paint to dry to put the hot glue on. See, now look, that looks better. See, it looks more like a branch. Let me do this one. Probably have enough paint on here. There you go. And now you have 3 birch branches. 1, 2, whoop, bring you over here. 1, 2, 3. Now, later, I'll show you what I do with these and how I decorate with them. But for now, there you go. And here it is, the birch branches incorporated in my centerpiece. There they are. There's one. And here's the other one. And there's the third one. They look so good. They do look really, really good. And that's what you can do with a cardboard tube or two.